Now, I welcome you all for the part 2 of power sharing. In this part, we will see the example of Sri Lanka, its social diversity, and its way to form the government and run the government. First, we will know about Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, it is an island nation just a few kilometers away from the southern coast of Tamil Nadu. It has about 2 crore population, same as that of Haryana. Sri Lanka also has a diverse population, means here the country has a variety of population. Before coming to Sri Lanka, see this map of Sri Lanka. It has some different colors: light yellow, dark yellow, and others. They show the different ethnic composition of people. Now we will see the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka. The major social groups of Sri Lanka are Sinhala speakers. They form the 74% of the total population of Sri Lanka. And there are Tamil speakers 18%. These 18% Tamil speakers have two groups. First 13% are those Tamil speakers whose natives were from Sri Lanka. They were called Sri Lankan Tamils and they form 13% of the population. Remaining 5% were the people whose forefathers came from India as plantation workers during colonial period, and they are known as Indian Tamils. And remaining 7%, about 7% of the remaining population, they are Christians. They are both Tamils and Sinhalas. If we see that most of the Sinhala speaking people are Buddhist, while the Tamil speaking peoples are Hindus or Muslims. Now we will see how the government tackled this problem. Sri Lanka emerged as an independent nation in 1948. As we know that Sinhala community was the major community of Sri Lanka, so they tried to secure dominance over government by the virtue of majority. As they were the majority, they had the maximum population, so they tried to take dominance in the government. And as a result, the government, which was democratically elected, but it adopted the majoritarian approach, and this was done to establish Sinhala supremacy. Now it is very important to know what does the term majoritarian means. In Hindi it is called बहुसंख्यावाद, means जिसकी संख्या ज़्यादा है उसी के सिद्धांत को माना जाए. Majoritarianism is a belief that the majority community should be able to rule the country in whichever way it wants by disregarding the wishes and needs of the minority. Now we will see what majoritarian steps were taken by Sri Lankan government to establish Sinhala supremacy. First step, in 1956 an act was passed to recognize Sinhala as the only official language. Thus they disregarded Tamil language. The government followed preferential policies that favored Sinhala people for university positions and government jobs. Here too, they gave no opportunity for the Tamil speakers. And the new constitution stipulated that the nation will protect and foster Buddhism. It means Buddhism was given more importance than the others. Now, what was the impact of these majoritarian steps or measures on the people? The Tamils were discriminated. The benefits were not given to them, they were given to Sinhala people. They had the feeling of alienation, means they felt that they were not the part of Sri Lanka. And they also experienced that the government after government changed, but no leaders were sensitive to their language, to their culture, or to their rights. That's why the Sri Lankan people launched parties and struggles to raise their demands. Basically, they had three demands. First, the recognition of Tamil language as an official language. Second, Tamil speaking people should be given regional autonomy. Third, they should be given equal opportunity in securing education and jobs. These three demands were taken by Sri Lankan Tamils during their movements and struggles. But their demands were not accepted by Sinhala leaders or the governments. They were repeatedly denied. So by 1980, the many political organizations were formed and they had the demand of independent Tamil Eelam, means independent Tamil state in northern and eastern part of Sri Lanka where they had their majority of population. After the long struggle, no solution could be found, and the distrust and the differences, conflict between these two communities, Sinhala speaking people and Tamil speaking people, turned more and more violent, and soon it turned into civil war. And due to this civil war, thousands of people were killed, many lost their families, they had to leave their countries, they had to take shelters and refugees in other countries, they had to lose their livelihoods, and this was a really very dangerous and alarming situation for Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan development and Sri Lankan government. Now we have seen the two examples. First, the model taken by Belgium. Second, the steps taken by Sri Lanka. And we will compare these two examples and we will see in third part. Now we will come to the third part where we will see why this power sharing is important and how it can be done, which is the main part of this lesson. Thank you.